It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see on the tuber screen. I like to get on here and give my unique perspective, because after 47 years of being on planet Earth, I've developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I'd like to get on and tell about it, because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to France. Got some plays over in France this past week. Gracias, gratitude, dobraba. And France, I heard some of the jobs over there, when they were going to hire you, they're doing the handwriting analysis to hire you, right? So like background checks, and they're going to analyze your handwriting. That's absolute madness. I cannot believe to get a job, they're going to analyze your handwriting. It's absolute craziness. But you know, this is the world we live in. So I hope your handwriting is awesome so you get that job. So thanks for listening. God says gratitude. And just FYI, back in the day I went to school to be a radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't have phenomenal handwriting. If I would have had phenomenal handwriting, maybe that would allow me to become a radio DJ. But it didn't. It allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Something to debate, might be true, might not be true, but I said it on the internet. So it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, propaganda, fake news, pens, pencils, rulers, compass, paper. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're online, just be aware, just watch out. Anyways, I could ramble you all day, but I won't. Let's get right to the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I rap. And on May 31st, 2023, I rapped again. I dropped my brand new album, Papel and Plumas, with the unique rap style that only the Captain can do over spacey, soundy, crazy sci-fi beats. So if you want to hear an album like you've never heard before in your life, check out Papel and Plumas. I'll put a link to my Bandcamp page. Check it out. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. And let's be real, I'm still suboptimal. It's some days where I'm suboptimal. You could probably hear it in the voice. The voices sounded suboptimal. But this is the game we play, bros. Some days you're going to be suboptimal. Some days you're going to be 100%. This is how the game works. The question is, when you're suboptimal, will you keep going? That's the question. Because a lot of people will quit, fail, and give up when they're suboptimal. When I'm not feeling the greatest. When I'm tired. When I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and that. Whatever excuse you want to make. They will stop. They will quit. They will give up. They won't do it. Right? My voice still raspy, suboptimal. You know what though? I don't care. I put in the work. Now let me be completely real with you guys. The last probably 6 weeks, I've been getting things done, I've been doing things, but I've not been 100%. I'm not talking like physically the feeling. I'm talking my habits, my routines have dipped slightly. I was analyzing my life the last 6 weeks. I said, yeah, I've been dipping a little bit. I think I said one of the other podcasts was kind of like in a trance. I don't know what happened. All I know is right now, I'm recognizing that, and we're changing that. That is the beauty of life. You can recognize where you're making mistakes and fail, and you can adjust, and I'm making the adjustments. I was going hard for so long, and I've dipped. Now it's time to fix that dip, because I'm all about expanding minds. I'm all about growth. I'm all about pushing forward. Are you? So when you're feeling suboptimal, you're not feeling the greatest, you got a raspy voice, will you still step it up? That is the question. I think you will. If you've been listening to podcasts, I think you will. So let's go into this. Let's shape our reality. Let's walk the line of madness to become the baddest. Let's do what we got to do. Let's get things done. Let's get things accomplished, because this is how we're going to change our life. Shift your mentality and shift your reality. Yeah, let's go get it. So anyways, now it is time to get into one of my favorite film franchises of all time. And I'm talking about the one and only xXx. The Captain, are you talking about dirty movies? No, I'm not talking about dirty movies. No, I'm not talking about naked ladies doing naked stuff. I'm talking about the Vin Diesel franchise, xXx. No, spy stuff. You know the Captain loves spy stuff. So anyways, this past weekend, I just binged the XX series. I binged XXX. I watched XXX State of the Union. I watched XXX Return of Xander Cage. I was all about that XXX this past weekend, bro. I was deep in the spy game. And let me tell you this, after binging all 3 XXX movies, all I gotta say about the franchise is that it is absolute madness. It's madness. I'm watching these flicks. I'm like, it is madness. All the explosions, all the crazy stunts, all the lines. I live for this shit, right? It's absolute madness. I couldn't get around madness it is. And I say madness in the absolute best way. Some days you just need to sit down, veg out, and watch some mindless stuff. And let your mind just do whatever and just have some fun watching some gratuitous violence, sex, and rock and roll, right? And that's what I did. I watched that and I was like, I live for this shit. It was magnet. It was great. I generally haven't watched that kind of thing for a long time. And it was very relieving. You know, I told you I was subpar, suboptimal, right? So I wasn't feeling like 100%. So I just took time to rest. My body saying rest, so I rest. And I rest watching Vin Diesel doing spy stuff. Also Ice Cube. Ice Cube's in the second movie. I watched Vin Diesel and Ice Cube do spy stuff. Yeah. And so, even watching that popcorn, bang, bang, blow 'em up spy flick, there was lessons to be learned. There was lessons. There's always lessons, bro. Everything I watch is lessons. And the lessons learned in XXX is this. Sometimes, to accomplish certain things, you have to go a different route. There's certain people that are trained in certain ways and think certain ways, and sometimes they're not effective. Sometimes you have to step outside what you would normally use to solve problems and get a different viewpoint. Now, I read this book called Range, right? Range. And basically, Range is talking about like when experts study a certain problem, sometimes they're just not able to come up with new solutions. Then you get someone outside of that field or discipline to look at the problem, and they're able to find solutions that the people that were in the problem could not find. It's called Range, the book. There's a whole book about it. And in these movies, this is essentially what happens, right? So the NSA is having some issues, and their conventional methods of solving these problems is just not working. So they created the XXX program of spies that uses spies that aren't necessarily who you'd pick normally, right? They use these guys that are kind of like little grimy, little street savvy, not necessarily the regular type of individual you would pick. And they put these guys out in the field to go solve problems. And guess what? They solve problems magnificently. Because like I said, sometimes you need to get elements outside of the problem, people outside of the issue, to look outside different viewpoints from outside, a different way of life, a different way of thinking, different way of being, right? So be who you gotta be, act how you gotta act. There's no rules to this. In some place, somewhere down the timeline, your skills, your views may come in handy, and you may be compensated for it very well. Yeah, so that was a lesson, bro. Sometimes you just gotta use different options. Sometimes it's options that people wouldn't necessarily believe would work. But the XXX movies show this. We're using these options, these XXX to solve these problems, and they are very effective. Yes. And then another lesson from these movies is that basically this. You have a goal, you have a mission, you have a task. And when you have a goal and a mission and a task, it is your job, it's your objective to reach and obtain and fulfill that goal and task. Whatever you need to do, right? You got to push aside all the nonsense that had nothing to do with it, all the distractions, because there's a lot of distractions on the path. Because that's what they did in the XXX movies. A lot of distractions. We cut through them, move around them, we go through walls, we get to where we got to go. So when we live our everyday life, like in the XXX movies, we need to get these goals accomplished, get these tasks done. We need to remove the distractions and not pay attention or focus on them. and do whatever we gotta do. Go wherever we gotta go. Think how we ever gotta think. Take action like we ever have to take action. Do whatever is necessary to attain and get these things done, right? I know it's extremely difficult. Trust me, I'm walking the path and it's hard. I just told you at the beginning of the podcast that I dipped a little bit from my going hard mentality, right? It happens on the path. On the path, you trying to stay focused, you trying to avoid the distractions, you trying to go hard, and sometimes you get distracted. It's part of the game, right? But all you got to do is be like XXX guys and get on task and go for that goal. If you got distracted, jump back on task, realign, and see what you find. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It doesn't matter what I watch, there's always lessons. It's probably just the way my mind works, what my mind thinks. My mind was subpar to speak, I was suboptimal, and still seeing the lessons. And one additional thing, one of these days, when I'm getting busy with a lady, one of the things I'm going to say, one of the first things to say is like, the things I'm going to do for my country. The XXX movies have absolute crazy funny one-liners. There's a whole bunch of them, right? Oh, that was just tripping me out, man. So anyways, it was a fun ride. I highly recommend you'll go binge them. I binged 2 of them on Peacock. I think it's the first and the second one, and I binged the third one on Paramount. So I don't know what you have access to, but that's how I watched them. So if you want to go check out XXX, be widely entertained, see unconventional spycraft, then go check out the XXX movies. So anyways, yeah, check it out. And then one last thing. For some reason, periodically over the years, I go back to these movies. I don't know why. I've watched these quite a few times, like in the last decade, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. I know the first one came out in 2002. The second one came out in 2005. The third one came out in 2017. I feel when they came out was just a certain moment in my life that just somehow resonated some weird, strange way. You know how the universe works. So anyways, thanks for listening. Personally, guys, takes gratitude. And until next time, we'll see. God bless America. Until next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.